John O'Sullivan, great Irish priest that went to Catholic University for some training and then taught at the seminary for many years, was a very, very favorite priest at Incarnation after he was ordained. I remember his greeting my mother on many occasions. "Oh, Lucy Hamel, how wonderful it is to start this day out with your presence." The blarney of the Irish, my mother would say. But I can never recall any better. I have one story that you may not want to edit, but when we were in 5th grade, Sister Lucien was a patient of mine for years later on. Wonderful saint today. She sold penny candy during the recess. There was a story going around, an off-colored story that these 5th graders were telling. And she got me outside of the room one day out there, and she said, "Joseph, I understand that you have told your mother what the story is." "Yes, sister, I did. Now I want you to tell me what it is." And I said, "Oh no, I can't do that. Well, you're going to stand right here until you tell me the story." I told her the story. In today's parlance, it was really not that bad. But after the end of the story, she said, "I don't get it." I said, "You don't?" And with that, I tore off down the hall. I don't get it. And I think of that story so often. Who told you that story? Charles Kelly. Well, who told him? And so forth. Now, I want to know what that story is. But that's an aside. But I was crying by the time she extracted the story from me. And I've told that to my kids many times. They said, "Dad, that was an off-colored story? There's nothing off-colored about it at all." But we had devotions on Sunday. When I was going to St. Thomas College, Sunday night we had prayer. I used to remember walking down so many times, hoping that I'd get a good mark in my exam the next day, and hoping I could get into medical school. And as I say, I think all of us entertain. My mother's brother was a wonderful guy, a priest. We used to see him often. On Sunday, he'd come over after getting his Sunday obligations done and have dinner with us, 10 Hamels. But I think my father's influence on me was probably a little stronger. And although he never pushed Arnie and I, my youngest brother and I, to go into medicine. My youngest brother got my dad's name, something I thought I should have gotten because I was the oldest boy. However, my mother and dad had made a pact that their first daughter would be Mary and their first son would be Joseph. And that's how it turned out. Ted Sweetser was a urologist in the city. Bob Delmore is the funeral director. Frank Moudry is pharmacist. Then John Hemp is deceased priest. Bob Linsmeyer, head of a big corporation in St. Paul. Bernard Mulcahy was at our meetings. He is Mulcahy Engineering. And then Bob Doherty, engineer for Honeywell. Jim Connell was a colonel in the Air Force. John Elfelt was the head of the welfare department in Anoka for many years. Chuck Kelly was a physician. Arlene McWilliams Swain. Nell Miller Zingzheim. Kathleen Murphy Lagermiller, and Catherine Kenny, she is never married. And Madonna Costello Smith has been at some of these meetings. But those are the only ones in these classes that have been in the last decade or so that have been at the meetings. Many of these are out of town, some deceased that I don't know.